Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Ox Talks. It is Wednesday, February 14th, 2024. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. It is not a good Valentine's Day for the people that were trying to celebrate their home team winning the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl this last weekend. I just read in the last hour or so a very, very sad news story that was released. Evidently, there was the celebration parade in Kansas City today. They said 1 million people were expected to show up for that parade. I read in this news release, and evidently a couple of guys decided to show up with guns and start shooting people. Don't know anything about the story other than I saw it released on Zero Hedge a while ago. Evidently, as of right now, one person has died and 9 people are injured. I read 5 of those are in critical condition. So what a sad situation, not only for the people of Kansas City, but for the people of this country. We should be ashamed of ourselves that we can't even show up to a rally or to a celebration anymore without fear for our safety and more importantly, the safety of our family. I saw a picture in one of the, there was a photo that was in the news story, just showed the streets just deserted, trash and debris all over the ground, and a baby stroller, an empty baby stroller sitting there. I can only imagine the panic that those parents felt when they heard those gunshots going off and they're scrambling to grab their children and to get out of there and have a flight or flee to cover and to safety. Again, not trying to sensationalize the story at all. Again, I don't know anything about what happened, but the point is that we are a society in decay. We're declining in every respect, every metric. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Pray for the people that were injured, and obviously the one that was killed and his or her family today in Kansas City. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how we get to rewrite the ship. I got a comment from a guy named Bob, I guess was once a subscriber. Just about an hour and a half ago, I saw it come through, and Bob's comment was always negative, never how to bring change, unsubscribed. And I get these comments from time to time. I'm not going to delve into it, but the bottom line is when you hear this kind of stuff happening, what do you do to usher in change? The point is that change has to start with yourself. Bob and anybody else out there that's looking to me to bring change and solutions. I present solutions basically every day on this channel about trying to make yourself self-sufficient, try to get in better physical shape, try to get in better economic and financial shape by paying off debt. We're going to talk about more layoffs today, starting your own business, trying to make yourself more resilient to being caught in a situation like that where you're laid off and have no job. So, to those people that are looking for a canned solution, start by working on yourself. Start by making yourself more resilient. Start by working on self-defense for you and your family. Start by, stop paying off debt and stop taking on debt and buying things you can't afford. Again, if you're a picture of health, if you have, 7 figures sitting in the bank account, and you don't have a care in the world, then maybe you're one of those people that can go out and start a campaign and a change. Or maybe run for office. That's never been my thing. I don't think anything gets accomplished, and I'd rather not get involved in that part of society. But anyway, I'm not beating up on Bob per se. Good luck with everything. I appreciate you watching the videos while you were here. But again, change starts with us. Change starts with our families and bettering those around us. Okay. From my perspective. A lot happening today with economic news, which I want to cover. I just wanted to briefly address the Kansas City tragedy because it kind of it saddened me. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching the videos. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the bell notification. And please check to make sure that you're still subscribed. I'm hearing that people are being unsubscribed unknowingly from the channel. Those that aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate the community we're building here. I think you'll see if you read the comments, it's getting very engaging, very intelligent input from everybody here, and it means a lot. We're going to keep going. Let's start with the series of articles. I'm going to be running through stuff a bit quicker today because I want to get this information out to you. This is out of the Zero Hedge today. Economists are sounding the alarm on YOLO credit bubble, YOLO, Y-O-L-O. And we've talked about this in the past videos about doomsday spending. This kind of ties in. I'm going to feed it into some other articles about more layoffs today, the mortgage rates, and a couple other things that are important. Number one, in a note to clients, economist David Rosenberg of Rosenberg Research warned that Americans are taking on too much debt to buy things they really don't need. We know that. He calls these people YOLO spenders, which refers to the catchphrase, you only live once. There is no acknowledgement, he says today, that yet again we have a super duper credit bubble on our hands, Rosenberg wrote. The credit bubble has created the illusion of a strong economy, but it's really a ticking time bomb that's, ticking time bomb. For starters, more Americans, as we know, are falling behind on their credit card payments. As far as consumer credit's concerned, he says, the default cycle isn't merely looming, it has arrived. He says it might sound obvious, but economists say Americans should be able to pay their credit card bills so long as they have a job and they stay employed. Although unemployment remains low, cracks in the labor market have emerged. I will diverge and come back to the article. Two stories today on layoffs. One, Instacart is going to lay off 250 employees, or about 7% of the company, as part of their restructuring plan. Again, restructuring to rein in expenses, rein in the spending, and to shore up the share prices. Instacart 250, and then just hit earlier today, Cisco announced this afternoon it is cutting 5% of its workforce. That's 4,250 jobs. And what the CEO of Cisco is saying is that there's a higher level of uncertainty and scrutiny of deals from their customers. So the revenues they're taking in are down. The earnings per share were estimated, they came in 86 cents, and the analysts were expecting 92 cents per share. Total revenues, $51.5 billion expected, and analysts were hoping for almost 54.26 billion. So revenues are down. These companies are shrinking their workforce. Please don't be a victim of one of these downsizings. Please get yourself right with a side gig, an alternate source of income, maybe even another part-time job. If you are not 100% sure that your job is going to be there tomorrow, and frankly, I don't know how anybody could be. So Instacart's laying off more, Cisco's laying off 5%. This, again, folks, is probably just the beginning of this cascade of further layoffs. We go back to the article I was talking about before about the YOLO credit bubble. It says, YOLOing has costs, especially for those who haven't benefited from the post-COVID asset inflation. He says, quote, you have these noticeable pockets of consumers, mostly middle and lower income renters, who have not benefited from the wealth effect of higher housing prices and stock prices, who are feeling financial stress, and that's driving up delinquency levels. They've been hit very hard by inflation. We know that. The middle and lower class are feeling this the hardest. The 1% are the 1%. They're always going to get wealthier in down times, while the middle and lower class suffer. It says millions of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck and just didn't have the extra money to pay for holiday purchases. And we know what happened over the holidays and how the debt levels just literally skyrocketed. Let's talk about the mortgage rates. Those now have spiked again. The last couple of days, we've had the 10-year bond price spiking that usually, or the bond yield spiking that usually results or translates into a spike in the 30-year mortgage, it says, or 30-year mortgage rates as well. This article says after a brief reprieve in December and January, mortgage rates are moving higher again, and that's taking a toll on mortgage demand. Total mortgage application volume fell 2.3% last week compared with the previous week, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association, the seasonally adjusted index. The average contract interest rate for 30-year fixed-rate mortgage with conforming loan balances at $766,550 or less increased to 6.87% last week from 6.8% the week before, with points rising from 2.65 from 0.59, including the origination fee for loans with a 20% down payment. That's the highest rate since early December 2023. So not only are the rates rising, but it's costing more to get the money, to get the loan. And those are conforming loans, 20% down, and probably a FICO score of, I don't know exactly, but definitely in the sevens. Probably 740 or 760 or higher. Says applications to refinance a home, which are most sensitive to weekly rate changes, fell 2% for the week, but were 12% higher than the same week 1 year ago. Rates are still about 0.5 percentage point higher now than they were a year ago. It says applications for a mortgage to purchase a home dropped 3% for the week and were 12% lower than the same week 1 year ago. Purchase applications remain subdued as elevated rates continue to add to affordability challenges along with still low existing housing inventory. A recent report from Redfin shows an 8% drop in pending home sales over the last 4 weeks compared with the same period a year ago. So look, I mean, you have these mortgage rates going up. They're not coming back down. All the realtors, they're telling you, get into a house now. Rates are going to be coming down. You can refinance. We don't have any evidence of that as of yet. In fact, it's going in the opposite direction. It says mortgage rates surged even higher on Tuesday after the inflation report, the CPI report, came out yesterday, shows inflation still stubbornly higher than expected, and the rate on the 30-year fixed hit 7.08%, according to Mortgage Daily News. So over 7% for a mortgage now. Again, if you are able to, again, not financial advice, but one approach would be to save your funds, save your resources, sit on the sidelines. Yes, rents are high right now, but consider pausing before you delve into a substantial mortgage on a house. If these rates keep going up, and they very well might, you're going to potentially find yourself in a situation where you can't make that payment. If you lose a job, you have an unforeseen health issue come up. So just be cautious. On this stuff right now. There's so much uncertainty. Amazon shares slide as Bezos sells stock. Zero Hedge did this story yesterday. I just saw it last night. It says that Jeff Bezos has sold another $2 billion worth of the company's stock, bringing the total value of shares he has offloaded in the past week to $4 billion of shares. He sold 12 million shares for about $2 billion between Friday and Monday. It says the Amazon founder disclosed on Friday, February 2nd, that he has plans to sell up to 50 million shares over the next 12 months. And what's interesting about this sale of the shares, and the article concludes by saying, should Bezos execute the sale, it would be his initial divestment of Amazon shares since 2021. So he hasn't sold any shares for over 2 years, for maybe over 3 years now, and now he's selling billions of dollars of shares. Again, what does he know that we don't know? Why is he doing this now? Of course, it doesn't go into detail, but these are the kind of things that we have to keep an eye on. We watch what the big fish and what the big players are doing, not what they are saying. And they said lots of other top-level executives at Amazon are also selling shares as well. And then the last article I wanted to address just briefly, it's a House impeachment of the Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. I hope I'm not slaughtering that name. This came out of the Hedge today. This morning, this is exactly a week after a failed attempt. The House has impeached Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, under whose tenure more than 10 million, it says, illegal immigrants have entered the United States, which doubled the existing population, or has doubled the existing population of migrants in this country. With the vote of 214 to 213, Mayorkas, listen to this, is the first cabinet official to be impeached since the 1870s. I mean, this is historical. And we talk about the illegal immigration problem in this country. It's not new. It's covered on my channel, lots of other channels as well. And, it is obviously presenting tremendous costs to our country, not only in terms of draining resources, but also posing substantial security risks. It is causing the crime to spike in many of the cities where these immigrants are settling or being placed. The article says Mayorkas was accused of demonstrating a, quote, willful and systemic refusal to comply with the law and breaching the public trust. So this is a big deal. We'll continue to watch where this goes, but it is definitely a statement by the House. Is everything that's done political these days? We have to look at everything through, rose-colored glasses, so to speak, or with, one eye shut. Of course, I don't buy anything hook, line, and sinker, but I wanted to share that with you if you hadn't heard the news. I think one of the subscribers last night sent me or posted a comment about that, so I wanted to address it. A little long today, a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to leave it about an hour to go get my workout for the day. Long day here at the office, dealing with clients. I just took in a substantial case, about an $800,000 contract dispute. Looks very interesting. So work is coming in here, and it's 24/7 when you're running your own business. Preparing for some more upcoming depositions. I have several trials set in the first and second quarter of this year. So constantly evolving, constantly having to shuffle to make time for things that come in during the day. You can have a game plan when you get up in the morning, and in the first hour, it can get derailed and send you off on tangents. Part of it is recovering. Part of it is being efficient and having excellent time management. So things that we all should be working on as well. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Please get your workout in today. Get some cardio done. Get your steps in. Do some strength training, sit-ups, pull-ups. I'm still, after all these years at my age now, working on my pull-ups. I'm getting a lot better with them. It's something I couldn't do years ago, and now at my age, I'm starting to rep them out. So stick with it, everybody. Watch the diet. Thank you for the support and for the channel. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.